Guys, I'm getting worried. A French February was only meant to be a fun, but now I'm stuck with a beret and a red scarf. I'm just getting more of a French. Bonjour, Tom le fait de market. No, John Allen said that at my class, so I'm hoping that was closer than what I said last time. Anyway guys, hey, it's the waiting time, in case you didn't understand my weird French. Today, we're not actually going to be building the model. I know I said I wouldn't really do unboxing videos, but I feel this warrants one. So I'm not doing like the history of the aircraft, because I'm going to do that when I actually, make the model, which I am doing, and there'll be a poll in this video for, the markings I make for this, but I wanted to still show the kit because it could be quite some time before I actually get it finished or decide how I'm going to do it, because this is kind of a scary project for me because I've never made a model this big. However, this model is insanely cheap. Now, Decals, not clickbait, I literally bought this for £27.99 on Amazon. Next day delivery. It was after one of Moz's streams. Me and Moments were talking about hella stuff, and then I just went, oh my god, I found this, I'm going to order it. And then I just got a model that I didn't know what to do with. But this model is massive, and on a lot of websites, I've seen it for like £43 to £46-ish. I've seen it as high as 60 on some, which I think, given the size, you could probably justify. Now, you'll see in the box why that's not necessarily the case, and I would like to add that other airliners are also available at this scale for generally around the £50 mark. This is a much older kit, and for that reason I think it should be cheaper, because the detail is significantly less. However, this is still hella we're talking about, so it's not bad. That old kit's tend to be quite good. As usual then, we're going to have a look at the Kitstery Festival, so where this model kit has come from, and all the evolutions that have come from it, because this has got quite a complex family tree. After that, we'll have a look at what's inside the box, and I'll give you my initial feedback afterwards. This kit isn't as old as you may think. It's from 1985, which in the grand scheme of model making is pretty new, considering you can still buy kits originally moulded in 1960s today sold as new kits. There are actually 3 boxings of this kit, all relatively close to each other. Starting in 1985 then we have the 707, and that was followed in 1986 with the Air Force One boxing. After that though, we have what I wish I'd got instead of this, because you can actually kind of buy it at the moment for a similar price, but it was the AWACS boxing, the E3D, and that's something that would also be released under the FX brand. That was only a couple years later in 1990, and before that we had Guns Sanyo released it in Japan as well, so yeah, the AWACS was already released in 3 different variants. Also released in 1992 was AMT ELTL's KC-135 Stratotanker. This is listed in sort of a similar release, and I've seen a couple of references suggesting there may be some form of relationship, and I know Hella did release that kit later on. However, from everything I can see, I think it technically is a separate kit, so I'm not going to involve it in full history today, but it's something just worth bearing in mind, and that's also something I've considered buying because I thought it really cool to do like an out refueling thing, but yeah, I didn't in the end. So during the course of the 90s, we did a couple of releases of the E3D AWACS, and that was really one of the more popular lines of this aircraft, between the Boeing 707 and AWACS, and I would say that from my friends, it's probably the most interest that's been generated, particularly I think because, FX, the RAF had the AWACS. I remember as a kid seeing a regular one fly over where I used to live, so, it was something that's quite big and it's impressive, and it has that massive radome on the back, whereas civilian aviation I think generally doesn't get the same fanfare that military aviation does. But that didn't stop Hella releasing the 707 in different boxings. No, we actually saw a TWA, which is Trans World Airlines, so obviously that should be my airlines. Yes, it's okay, I'll let you laugh at that joke guys, don't worry. But that boxing seemed to have happened in 1996-1997. Not long after that, there would also be a Lufthansa boxing of the aircraft in 1999. So Hella really did seem to try and appeal to different markets by putting different decals inside this. Whereas the E3D, from what I understand, pretty much just had the sort of NATO variant and also the USA variant. The FX one also had the RAF variant, so they were the main differences from what I understand. Now this was something that was released constantly throughout Hella's life cycle, so we've talked before about how Hella were sort of not the most successful brand in the world. They had several bankruptcies, more than I've had, you know, actual relationships, as I've said before. So I think the fact that they've managed to constantly release this kit is quite impressive, and has also prevented prices skyrocketing. Following the Lufthansa boxing for the 707, we got a release in 2016. There was also the anniversary boxing for Hella, which, as far as I can tell, was a standard boxing. It just said anniversary for Hella, or Manani birthday, or whatever for Hella. The AWACS release had been, you know, ongoing as well. I don't really see that there were any significant changes in that. And the same with the FX release, that sort of carried on up until 1994, which was, I think, the last release of the FX kit. But really after that, it was the Hella boxings of the 707 and AWACS in the changing Hella boxing. As it stands today then, the aircraft is still in production and sale from Hella, and that's in both the 707 and the AWACS boxing. If you ever see this on sale and it says something like £30, it's about the price it should be, really. You will see it much more expensive than that elsewhere. As I say, I've seen it sort of between 40 to 60 at the moment, but I wouldn't pay that. As I say, I got mine on Amazon for £27.99, and yeah, I think it's probably worth that. To understand that, I think we need to have a look inside the box though. So we'll go do that. Obviously, make sure you've liked this video and subscribed, and we'll head into the unboxing. So here we are with the Boeing 707 from Hella in this giant yellow box. Archie was very, very curious of it. He kept interrupting every time I was trying to do anything, but I can't do anything. I have to keep him here. Here he is. He's helping me open the box, and look how big this box is. Wow. There's not much in it though for what it is, and I'm glad that they haven't bagged everything, because what a waste of plastic that would have been. Is that safe, Archie? Okay, let's go get a bottle of it. So once we'd vacated Archie a little bit from the premises, I decided to just have a look inside the box myself, and you can see the decals here first of all come in 2 sheets, and they have both the BOAC and the Air France decals on. They actually look really nice quality. My experience with modern Hella decals is they're actually really good. Even some old ones aren't too bad, but yeah, definitely the newer kits are much better than the old ones. So that was all the parts in the box. I haven't opened the clear parts into their separate, you know, pieces, because I didn't want to leave them out of the bag, because they're going to be in that giant box rattling around. You can see the fuselage is very solid. The plastic seems really thick compared to some of the other Hella kits, which have a lot softer plastic. So I think this is deliberately slightly different plastic to what you'd get in the standard ones, just because it's such a big plane. It's going to have to hold together. You know, the bigger it is, the more sturdier it's going to be. But I'm impressed by the detail. It's definitely nothing special, but it's really not that bad either, especially considering age. Again, 1980s, not always the best quality kits from then, but yeah, this isn't too bad, particularly because for a lot of people, this is something you'd hang from your ceiling, isn't it? Or you have, like, you know, nice decals on, so you're really looking at the decals and the really interesting airline markings on that, which we'll obviously go into in a bit. This is the only sprue which is like super busy. You can see all the cockpit elements on there. The cockpit is the only bit that this is detailed. I did think about doing an interior, but to be honest, for cost and effort, I'm probably just going to do it as is the box. Maybe with some extra decals, again, for different markings. But yeah, I don't think this is bad. Not at all, especially for 28 bloody quid. Amazing value. The clear parts are fine. Again, I don't have anything against them. And this is just my cat, Archie, for measurement, so you could see how he is. And then he got a bit overexcited and jumped at the camera, so... The main thing inside the box, I think you understand why I'm saying I don't think this is worth more than what I paid for it. And it's not because it's bad, and it's not because I think it's, like, going to go together horribly. First of all, this is quite an old kit still. It's still from 1986. The modelling techniques that are available for moulding, well, I would say scanning, but it's not scanning, is it? Design work, means that you are going to have gaps, you are going to have inaccuracies, and although I don't think this kit is particularly super inaccurate, it does have quite large gaps that can happen, and the larger the parts, the larger the risk of warping is. And I've seen several of these constructed, and they always required a small army of people to fill in all the gaps because they're so massive. It's not the same for everyone. Sometimes people get this scared and it just goes together like butter, and I hope my experience is going to feel like that as well, but we all know I'm going to make a pig of it because it's me. This isn't the only airliner I've got at the moment, but it's the only one I'm sharing. But it does make me wonder, what scheme could I do this in? Because I've got the new box in, it comes with BOAC and Air France. And I did think, you know, maybe I'll just whack this model out and do it for French February. But then I thought, actually, maybe I should do something more interesting. So, I'm going to give you guys a couple of options, and we'll just see what people want to go with. Now, I'm leaning towards one in particular, and I'll say what it is when we get to it, but I'm going to do a poll. So, if the functionality's there and I can do it, it'll be in this YouTube video. You just need to go to one of the corners, whichever one it's in, and click on the poll and vote for whichever one you want it to be. If it's not on there, I'll do it on a community post separately. Now, obviously the first two options are going to be BOAC and Air France. After that, however, we have a bit more interesting choices. The third choice is the Canadian Armed Forces version, providing the decals are still available by the time, you know, I come to order it. The next one is the one I'm looking forward to the most, and the one I really hope you all want me to do, which is Aer Lingus, which is an Irish carrier. It's an Irish flag carrier, and it's just green. I love it so much. I really want to do this one, but obviously I want to see what you guys want to vote for. After that is Lufthansa. This was in a boxing originally, but there are some decals you can buy aftermarket because mine obviously didn't come with that. So yeah, they're your options: BOAC, Air France, Aer Lingus, Canadian Armed Forces, and Lufthansa. If there are any other schemes where you can find the decals for them and you think that should be an option, there will be an other option as well. And you just leave a comment below, and if needs be, I'll redo the whole at some point. But I'm thinking they're going to be the main options. I mean, I've seen a couple like Pan Am, but the decals just aren't there anymore, so that's why I've chosen the ones I have in this list. So let's see what you guys vote for. I think that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this is a bit weird, I don't do unboxings normally, but again, I thought this warranted one, and I will do this model at some point. The poll is there for whichever corner it is, for you guys to let me know what scheme you want this in. If you haven't enjoyed this video, make sure to drop me a subscribe. I do full build videos of history and kitstery on Mondays, normally around 6 AM, but sometimes later if I get a bit delayed. I also go to as many model shows as I can to make sure that you guys can go to all the model shows you want to. That way, if you can't travel to them, I'm bringing the show to you. If you do want to support the channel memberships are available as little as £1.99 a month or £4.99 a month, depending on which level of support you can afford. Channel members do get to see additional posts by me on the community feed, and it does mean that they can also get a little bit more access to me and perhaps suggest new things that they want me to do. For me, you having a membership is just your way of supporting the channel. But also, if you can't afford a membership, that's okay too. Everyone's situation is different, and I completely understand that. Do whatever is best for you. If that also means you want to give me a one-off donation, that's also available over on Ko-fi. Just head over to the link in the description. This is such a weird video because it's like so short compared to my like normal ones, which are like 45 minutes long. But you know, we'll definitely get to do one of them at some point because this ad grab has a history, honey. I'll see you all next time. Bye! A big thank you to my channel members who help make these videos possible. A shout out goes to the Advanced Kit subscribers, which are Crazy Launcher and Explosive Water. But obviously, regardless, whatever level you're on, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and there's a recommended video for you on the right. I do upload new videos every Monday. Have fun modelling!